Thank you very much for having me here, and thanks. I would like to thank all the organizers of this event. I prefer to continue on a positive note because I think any positive change comes with a change in the vision, and I think it's important to support the positive vision and to use the right terms and to have the good intentions and to have the right intentions. Now, I would like just to start talking about this vision of Chechnya here in the United States and generally in the West. Chechnya and the wider North Caucasus has been treated here in the West and in the United States as Russia's backyard. Yeah. Even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, this perspective did not change. And the Clinton's policy, Russia first and then all other post-Soviet republics, neglected what happened, what truly happened in the Eastern Europe, especially in North Caucasus, and unfortunately, the democracy did not survive in Russia, although despite the Western efforts to support its democratic transition following the collapse of the Soviet Union. So the democracy in Russia did not survive. It ended when Russia started the war in Chechnya. It ended when Russia started, when Putin took power, transformed Russia into an authoritarian state. When Putin came to power, blowing up civil buildings in Moscow. So democracy did not survive in Russia. And it's very important to change the vision and to start treating Chechnya and the North Caucasus not as part of Russia, but as part of the grand chessboard, of the Eurasia. Because North Caucasus, it's not just a small republic. If we take the territory, it covers 355,000 square kilometers. The ethnicities of the North Caucasus are completely different from Russian ethnicities. It is rich in natural resources, including gas, oil, minerals, and we have the vital access to both the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, and of course the pipelines that are originating from the Caspian Sea. And we have 15 million population, and it's time to recognize that the North Caucasus is not Russia's backyard and that we have a potential to become a valuable partner for the United States. And the North Caucasus is on the crossroads of Europe, Middle East, and Europe, Middle East, and Central Asia. So when we see China expanding its influence in Central Asia, which is completely close to us, to the North Caucasus, I think it's time for the United States to increase its presence, to influence in the North Caucasus, to support the pro-democracy forces in North Caucasus, and to foster the political and economic ties with the peoples of North Caucasus, and especially with the government of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria. And talking about the government of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, which I find is very important, it is the only legitimate government. It is the only legitimate force that represents the Chechen state, that represents the will of the Chechen people. And the Chechen government was elected after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1990, after the Chechen people expressed its free will to be independent, to be sovereign, to live in a sovereign state. And our leader, the Prime Minister of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, Ahmed Zakayev, he is the witness of everything, of all the political processes that occurred in Chechnya since 1990. And he wrote actually excellent books about how the Chechen state was shaped. And these books, the first one is the Subjugate or Exterminate. The second book is Russia West in Chechnya from 2002 to 2016. So our leader, he is a very competent leader. He knows exactly how the processes happened. He was there since the beginning. And my professor used to say, if you want to know how the person thinks, read his books, read his thoughts. And his books can be found on the shelves of the best universities around the world on the shelves of the libraries of Harvard University, of Princeton University, Cambridge University, Oxford University. So we have competent people in our government. Now, it's important for the Western side to see these competent people, to see that our government is a legitimate government, and to treat and to try to foster the ties, political ties, diplomatic ties with our government, and recognize our government. Why? Because it will send a powerful message to other authoritarian states that the US is supporting pro-democracy forces, that the US is supporting people who are struggling, who are seeking liberty, and not supporting the regimes who are trying to suppress these liberties. So this is one thing. Now another thing, also talking about the vision, here in the West, the Chechen resistance, the national liberation movement in the West has been often labeled as, a separatist guerrilla. But this is completely wrong, because the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria was never a separatist guerrilla. If you take the word separatist, séparé, it's a French word which means you're separating from someone. We never separated from Russian Federation because we were never part of the Russian Federation. And I think the biggest mistake when we talk about the Russian Federation, to think that the Russian Federation constitutes the 15 republics that were formed, that intentionally signed the federal treaty with Russia. Chechen Republic of Ichkeria was never signed the federal treaty. So including Chechen Republic, when we talk about the territorial integrity of Russia, including Chechen Republic in the Federation, it's completely wrong. Not only that, the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria adopted its constitution in 1992, 1 year earlier than the Russian Federation. The Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, the only thing it signed with Russia is the peace treaty in 1997, where both states were recognized as the subjects of the international law. And this is the only document that defines the relations. And this document is published on the website of the United Nations. And Russia, by signing this treaty with us, Russia de facto recognized our state. And there is even, Professor Francis Boyle from Illinois University, he's an expert in international relations. He said that by signing the peace treaty with Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, Russia de facto recognized it as a state. And the very sad thing is that even after recognizing the Chechen Republic as a state, when Russia started the Second War, it never admitted that it was conducting an armed conflict, that it was engaged in armed conflict against a Chechen state. It never admitted that. Russia always said that Russia was dealing with an internal conflict, although it recognized Chechnya as an independent state. And why Russia always spread this propaganda? It's to bypass the Geneva Conventions, so it doesn't have to follow any obligations and responsibilities as the country that signed the Geneva Conventions. In fact, there's very interesting article that I read not a while ago, written by Mr. Kramer. He is the head of the Davis University, the Davis Center in Harvard University. He said that the Russian generals and the people who were fighting in Chechnya, they were very well aware of the fact that they were violating the Geneva Conventions, but yet they did not follow them, not because they were not aware, but because they were unwilling to do so. So why I'm telling all this? I'm telling all this to just make clear for everyone, especially for our American friends and the friends here in the West, that Chechen Republic of Ichkeria should not be treated as part of federation. It's not part of Russian Federation. It was never part of the Russian Federation. And if you take the facts and you see the facts, it's clear that it was never part of the Russian Federation. So this is very important. Now, in the future, if you want to have a change and to have a policy that respects that follows the interests of the United States and the objectives of the foreign policy of the United States, you have to see that Chechnya is not, and the Chechnya is not part the Russian Federation. And you have to, I think it's important to see the potential that the North Caucasus has to offer in terms of economic development, in terms of political development, and North Caucasus actually can become, you know, a foothold for the United States. It can, if the United States increases its influence to the North Caucasus, if it dares to challenge Russia in the North Caucasus, I think that it has very good opportunities to defend its interests, to defend its strategic interests. And given the fact that we have all the natural resources, you know, some say that North Caucasus is like the Switzerland, except we have two seas, Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, and some oil there. So I think that there's a huge potential, economic potential, and it's very important to open this cooperation. Now, what would be very nice from our partners in the United States is that what today we need, the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, we need our government to be recognized. It would be very nice if the government of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria was recognized. It would be very nice to follow the example of Ukraine Verkhovna Rada, who recognized the occupation of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria on the 18th October 2022. You know, today in Ukraine, and Ukraine is our ally, and we're very grateful to Ukraine, and we really think that the Ukraine is now defending not just Ukraine, and defending the entire Europe from the Russian aggression. So today in Ukraine we have on permanent basis the defense minister of Ichkeria, he is in Ukraine. Our Prime Minister Ahmed Zakayev is mostly in Ukraine. Our army, the armed forces of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, are fighting with Ukrainians against the Russian aggressor. And you know, we have the support from our diaspora outside Chechnya, and the diaspora is 300,000 Chechens living outside Chechnya, and we have Chechens waiting for us in Chechnya. So we have people who support us, we have the government, we have the plan to go back and to take back our territory. The only thing is missing is the diplomatic support and the political support from the West. We need someone to back us so we can go and get our lands back and make sure that the North Caucasus and the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria is a secure place, an open place, a democratic place where you and everyone can come, where Robert can come and give a speech on security. You know, it's very open to make it an open and democratic space, and we need the support from the West. Now, the last thing I would like to mention is, here our dear panelists raised the question how to make sure that the next war would not happen. This is a good question, but we have a member here of the Circassian diaspora who actually responded to that question yesterday. He said, and it's Mr. Iyad Dilar, he said that, and it was I find it's a very powerful point, that the Russian Empire started to be an empire because it took the control over the Black Sea, over the North Caucasus. Give back the Black Sea to the Circassians, give back the lands of Caucasus back to Caucasian people, and the Caucasian people will make sure that these lands are defended, are protected, that the borders of Eastern Europe are protected, and that the democracy is fostering there, democracy is becoming more and more powerful there, and that the Russia will never rise again, because Russia rised by conquering, expanding to North Caucasus. So I think if we want to fix the problem, we have to go to the root of the problem, to the beginning of the problem, fix the problem at its origins, and then continue from that. So I guess I finish on this point. I hope it was a positive point. And thank you so much.